during this time, a man from the tribe of Levi married a woman of his own tribe, and she bore him a son. When she saw what a fine baby he was, she hid him for 3 months. But when she could not hide him any longer, she took a basket made of reeds and covered it with tar to make it watertight. She put the baby in it and then placed it in the tall grass at the edge of the river. The baby's sister stood some distance away to see what would happen to him. The king's daughter came down to the river to bathe, while her servants walked along the bank. Suddenly she noticed the basket in the tall grass and sent a slave woman to get it. The princess opened it and saw a baby boy. He was crying, and she felt sorry for him. "This is one of the Hebrew babies," she said. She said to herself, "I pulled him out of the water, and so I named him Moses."
Hey, Stephen Cook here. Welcome to the Nile River in Egypt. Now a man from the house of Levi went and took to wife a daughter of Levi. The woman became pregnant and bore a son. When she saw him, that he was goodly, she hid him for 3 months. Verse 3, and when she was no longer able to hide him, she took for him a little ark of papyrus. Now, it's worth pausing here. Everett Fox in the Shokin Bible has really brought out the uniqueness of this little word. We all know it as a papyrus basket, which of course it was, but the Hebrew says ark, tevah. Now that Hebrew word, if we do a search on it, we can see that the only other place that that Hebrew word is used in the Bible is of Noah and Noah's Ark. That's pretty amazing. I think there's a clear attempt here in the Hebrew to describe what Moses is about to do in terms of the Noah story. Amidst all of the chaos and depression and violence that God's people are experiencing in Egypt, Moses is about to prepare an ark of safety to carry and liberate those people whom God is going to use in history to start afresh, a new creation. It really lends some cosmic significance to this Noah, to this Moses story in Exodus 2. So she made this little ark of papyrus. She loamed it with loam and pitch. Again, sounds like waterproofing the ark. She placed the child Moses in it and placed it in the reeds by the shore of the Nile. Now this word for reeds in Hebrew is also significant. The Hebrew word is suf, and it just, to the Hebrew ear, has these echoes and resonances with the Yam Suf, the Sea of Reeds, the Red Sea. And of course it's at the parting of the Red Sea, the miraculous parting of the sea that we'll get to a bit later in Exodus chapters 14 and 15 and so on, that we see Moses accomplishing this great deliverance, just as Noah accomplished this great deliverance of God's people. So already in the birth story of Moses, God is destining him for great things. Not to be a Pharaoh, even though he's able to be a prince in Pharaoh's court, but to be something even greater, a great spiritual liberator among God's people. Verse 10, the child grew, she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. She called his name, now this is very, very interesting and pretty spiritually cool. Pharaoh's daughter named the baby Moshe, meaning he who pulls out. She said, for out of the water, Meshitihu, I pulled him. Now this is very interesting. Let's put aside for a second the probable Egyptian scientific etymology of the name Moses and just look at what the Hebrew's doing. Moshe, the name Moshe, if you look at that long O vowel, the vowel pattern in the name is the participle, the active participle, cal participle in Hebrew. Moshe is the pulling one, the pulling one. Pharaoh's daughter doesn't quite get it, and the author playfully reveals kind of her misconception. She says, Meshitihu, same verb, Moshe, but she feels she pulled him out of the water. But the real significance is Moshe. He will be the one who will be pulling God's people, Israel, out of the dangerous waters of the Red Sea when those waters are parted, and accomplishing, as God's instrument, God's liberation of God's people to start a new creation. Pretty amazing. I love this story.